All right. It's Sunday again. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Ethan. I said I'd bring some verses with you today. I've got a verse for you. We're going to be looking at Genesis. Before we look at Genesis, though, we're talking about obedience today. That's something I talked about at church today with my sermon. When God tells you to do something, basically you need to do it. Because God knows best. But basically, we're talking about obedience to God today. So there was something my pastor said this morning, which was there was one sin in the very beginning that spun out the rest of the sins and pain and suffering on this earth for the rest of its life. And that sin wasn't murder. It wasn't any of the sin like that. It was a disobedience. It was a disobedience of God. Genesis 3:17 says, "And to Adam he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In pain you shall eat of it all the days of your life." It continues on to say what else he did, pain of childbearing and the pain of suffering, and you guys cannot enter the garden anymore. That's the only verse I have. But the word is obedient, right? The Lord calls us to be obedient to him. Of course, he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. We talked about this in the past. He knows it all. He knows it all. He's all-knowing. He's the creator of the universe. We talked about that. When God calls you to do anything, when he asks you to do anything, the Bible says that we are supposed to be, as servants of the Lord, to be obedient to that. When you're obedient to God, good things will come. He promises that to us. When you're obedient to him, good things will come. He's allowing things and making things happen in your life and in other people's lives that you are supposed to be obedient to, that will make your life more fulfilling and closer to him. We're trying to, like we talked about last night, you're trying to grow closer to him. He wants you to grow closer to him. This goes back to kind of what we talked about, I think a couple weeks ago with the trusting the Lord. Because there's a lot of things that the Lord might ask you. He certainly asked me and my mom and my dad and all my friends. He asks you to do things that you don't want to do. Most of the time, I can tell you from experience, most of the time it will be something that you don't want to do. But he's doing it for a reason. He's asking you to do it for a reason, and you have to trust God's plan that in the end it will be for the good. Along with the trust, this also ties into what we talked about, knowing God's character, right? Like I said, I think last week it was that when temptation enters your mind and when that voice tells you to be doing something, right, it doesn't always sound like a devil with horns. It sounds like you. It sounds like someone you know. It sounds like a good guy. It sounds like, oh yeah, this will be great. But you have to know God's character, and you have to be reading the word to understand when it is the Lord that's asking you to do something and be obedient to him and do something. The Lord would never ask you to go and just give into the temptation just for a bit so that you can go do this other thing that'll be really great, right? He would never go ask you to go behind someone's back and, betray them or anything like that. He would never ask you to do any of that. That's not the Lord, right? That's the devil. That's sin. That's temptation. You need to know his character. So the moral, or to wrap it up, the obedience to God and to his plans and to his word will bring good things in your life and will grow you closer to him. I'm sorry that this sermon this week was really short, but God bless, and I will see you guys next Sunday.